All right, here's the 2021 Bronco, and I'm gonna do a quick walk around. I've had it for about 5,000 miles, and I just want to talk about the things that I like and dislike. So I didn't tidy it up because I wanted you to see that I use it. I use it a lot. I use it for what you want to use these things for. I take it out in the woods. I haven't really gone like strictly off-roading, like just like wild and crazy, but I've gone on some decently adventurous roads, especially when I first got it. I go out on the forestry roads a lot, and as you can tell, I mean, here's an idea of some of the paths I've traveled. I mean, it's not too wild or crazy or anything, but they are dirt roads, gravel roads, etc. Other things I've done a lot of towing. I have towed I've got over 5,000 miles on this, and I've done probably about 2,000 to 2,500 miles of just towing. I will say I love these seats. The seats are absolutely amazing. I got first off, let me tell you about the Bronco. Hold on. So the Bronco that I have is the Badlands, obviously the 2021. I got the 2.3 liter with the manual transmission, no Sasquatch, just the regular old Badlands. Right now, this is what I want. I wanted more of a adventure mobile, not a hardcore off-roader. So, which it's been doing good for that. So, let's go back to actually talking about this guy. So the stick shift is awesome. The transmission feels absolutely great. If you haven't driven one of these, you're in for a treat when you do. The stick shift feels great. It doesn't have a super long throw. It's somewhere in the middle. I drove a Volkswagen Golf for many years, and those are notorious for having a short throw. And I wouldn't say this is much longer. When you shift, it doesn't feel like you're shifting for days, right? You just shift, you're in there. I haven't actually gotten into four-wheel low. I haven't needed to, but I've had the crawler gear on with 4 high, and like I said, it's a dream. If you need to hit the brakes without hitting the clutch, you can almost come to a complete stop before it stalls out. So, and because it's got the start again right after you stall out again button, which you can turn off. If you come to a stop at a stop sign, the engine cuts off. Well, you can turn that off, but I like to keep it on because, like I said, if you do stall out when you're wheeling, all you have to do is clutch in, and the system starts back up again. So it's an absolute dream. I love it. So we're starting. Everybody loves the Bronco. I think that's every time I open the doors to show somebody this thing, that's the first thing everybody notices is that, like, oh, look at the Bronco. The screen is so huge, and that's a cool animation. The only thing I really like, I love this display because you do have solid buttons, which a lot of cars nowadays, everything's managed by your screen, which is beneficial for some, but I don't like it because I don't like having to deal with this while I'm driving because you don't have a physical button to push, and so you don't know if you're pushing that button. You have to have your eyes on the screen while you're trying to drive, and I just don't like it. So I was glad that Ford put actual buttons down here. The only problem is, like, say, all right, I'm driving down the road, I'm cold. Well, I can't just glance over here and see where my vents are blowing, whether they're blowing on my feet, blowing in my face, or I got the defrost on. I can't tell immediately. You have to push the button, and then the screen comes up. So now I gotta go, oh, okay, the feet are on. Well, I don't want the feet on, I want that on. So, you still have to kind of figure out what you are and what you're doing here. And so that's one thing I don't like. It's not a huge deal, but same thing with like your fan. Like, I can't tell when the fan is full throttle or not. Yeah, okay, you can feel it, but I don't know. Just little things, not a big deal. Oh my gosh, I've talked to other guys that own Fords, specifically the Ford F-150, and they had the same issue. The seat warmers, Ford. Guys, we don't live in the Arctic. Like, if you have this thing on full blast, it will burn your house down. 2 is just as hot. Like, I feel like there's no difference. But even in low, like, this should be low. Dude, I feel like you could cook an egg on the seat when you just have it on low. Like, I have warm clothes on. I just need a little bit of warmth Ford, I don't need a cooking egg on my seat. Turn the heat down. That is unbelievably hot. So I just want to turn the heated seats on. I'm like, oh, this would be nice. No, I turn it on low for like 5 minutes, and then my back's on fire. I have to turn it off, and then I'm sweating for the next 20 minutes while the seat cools. It's just ridiculous. Way too hot. It needs to be adjusted. Like, I wish I could adjust it myself because it's ridiculous. I do like the dual thermostat though, especially when I'm riding with a girl. Anybody really that gets hotter or colder than me, they can adjust it. But so what I like about these guys, like the menus are great. You can sit here and switch through them. They're not too bad. They're pretty easy to do. And I do like that they have like the calm screen. When you're in that mode, it expands, and now you just get your instrument clusters. So you get your speed, your RPM, and then your actual, like, your digital speed, and then your actually analog tach, which I like. So you can see how many miles I have, 5,832, and I like that I don't have to switch this. It just tells you, like, hey, this is how many miles you are to empty, if you can see that. Some of the things I don't like is I usually ride around with either full fuel economy or my trip information. Sometimes, like, this is a completely useless screen. I don't even know why that's an option. It just tells you what drivetrain you're using. If I switch to 4 high, now it just shows me, see how it just shows everything is highlighted. Cool. Worthless. It already tells me I'm in 4 high. I don't need a visual of it. I don't know, it just seems kind of silly. It seems like redundancy. This screen is really helpful when you're out off-doors. You can see which way your tires are turned, what your pitch and roll is, and just in general what your truck is doing. And I really like this. Like I said, I haven't gone on any major off-road events, but it's still kind of helpful just even traversing around here. The power distribution is awesome when you got the traction, like when you're in 4 auto especially. You can tell, like, hey, are you using your power up front? You're using power in the back, what's going on. It's just a good representation of what your truck's doing, especially when you're pulling a trailer on crazy mountain roads that are gravel and ruddy. You can see if you're losing traction or not, if you're still pulling forward. Tire pressure, running a little low today. It should be around 39, but it's just cold out. But what I don't like is that, like, when you switch to goat mode, say, all right, so you go to, let's go to Baja. All right, so it switches everything like it should, which is awesome. But then it changes your screen. Like, I was riding with my my fuel economy up there, but now it's on this stupid menu, off-road use only. Cool, you're in 4 high. Cool, I already know that. And so now I have to switch back to a screen that I want, and it's not even my screen. But what I don't like this, because now I have to go back up to my view, and boom, I'm back where I want to be. I didn't, not that I want to run fuel economy when I'm in Baja mode, but I want what, like, a lot of times when I'm wheeling or something, or like I'm out on these forestry roads, I put it in Baja just so I like the steering in Baja mode, because when you hit a bump, your steering wheel doesn't jolt to the right or the left. You barely feel it, so it's a lot stiffer steering response. So I'll be riding either with the power distribution or the pitch and roll, or I'll even have like my trip up, and then I switch to Baja mode, and then it puts me on that other page, and then I have to back out and go, or go to the page that I want to go, and I'm like, what? Why didn't you just keep me where I was at? Again, small thing, it doesn't really burn my bubble much, but it is just annoying. If you have one of these and you're not using the GOAT modes, I feel like you're doing it wrong. The GOAT modes are nice because they don't just, like, even with the stick shift, it doesn't just change your shift points. If you're in automatic, it changes your power or your steering response. It changes your throttle response. So it changes a lot of other things that make driving off-road feel better, and just like you feel like you have a better response. Like if you're in normal mode, just throwing it in 4 high, that's fine, but like, man, try it in Baja mode. Baja mode is great even just cruising around on these gravel roads. Like I said, I haven't really gotten into like any mud or ruts or anything to put it on that in that mode. But the biggest deal about the instrument cluster that I don't like is this is your RPM tach, and it's just up like strips charts. It's just up and down, and I miss old school tachometer. Like I wish this was my tach and not my speed. And I wish you could change this, but you can't change it. And I've heard there's some updates coming out maybe in the future that will allow you to customize this a little bit more. But right now, this is what I'm stuck with, and I don't hate it. It's just it took a lot of time to get used to. So the other thing I don't really care about, or I wish a feature that I wish Ford had, like I said, I drove a Volkswagen Golf for 10 years. I had 3 of them. And even on the older models, like I had 2015, and like I'm a data guy. I mean, I'm an engineer, and so I love data. And like this is great. Okay, cool. Trip 1, it tells you how much time you've driven, your fuel, and your miles on that. But you have to remember to reset it. Like, oh, I'm going on a trip, got to reset, which is easy to do. Just reset it. Cool. But like in the Volkswagen, it was cool because it tracked all this stuff automatically. Like, who cares about miles per gallon over 18 different fill-ups? Like, who cares about, like, who actually sits there in their garage and goes, I'm going on a trip today, let me reset my trip? I always forget. I'm sure other people always forget too. But that's what I loved about the Volkswagen was every time I filled up, it reset itself. And then you could scroll over and see, okay, today I've been driving this long, and so it tracks your daily use automatically. So like for the first time you turn the car on that day, it tracks all your miles and all your time for that day, for just that startup moment. So like it tracks it for the day. For this moment right now, I started the car, drove 100 miles and stopped it. It tracks that individually, and then it tracks over a long period of time, kind of like this, where you have to reset it automatically for that one. So I really miss that. It's nice, especially when you go to like work or you go to places around town. You just look down and you go, oh, I've been in the car for 15 minutes. Oh, it takes me 15 minutes to get here. So like now I don't have a timer. So I'm like, crap, how long did it take me to get here? Because I just moved, and I'm not, like, I moved into a new house, and I'm not real sure how long it takes to get to places. So like I'm constantly having to like look at my time, try to remember what time I left. You know, like it's silly, this thing that I'm complaining about. I know that, but it is a nice to have when these things just automatically do it, because I forget to hit the timer. That's what I'm saying. But not a big deal. Overall, I think the instrument panel is fine, but those are some of my little pet peeves. The hero switches up here, I think that's what they're called, are awesome. I love them. It's great. Oh, rear locker on, front locker on, or when you switch, using the goat modes, and these just automatically do it. Oh, it's just great. Having the aux switches are nice. I really enjoy these. They come on easy. The only downside about having these on, because I have fog lights, like I wired up ditch lights, fog lights, 2 sets of fog lights, and then reverse lights. So I think these are my ditch lights, these are my fog, my yellow fog lights, and these are like my flood fog lights, and then these are my reverse lights. So I love these switches. They're really easy to wire, so easy that I could do it. The only issue is, like, I pulled into my garage at night with my fog lights on, but I forgot to turn them off. And then, I drive around all day the next day, and I've been blinding everybody with my fog lights on because I didn't know. I wish there was some kind of like advisory down here, like a little, hey, did you know aux 1 is on, or aux 6 is on? Because this is awesome, you can see that, but how often are my eyes that far up? Like, okay, cool, I'm looking at the rear view. That's a little bit further. My eyes are always forward, so I don't notice that these are on until people start flashing their lights at me, going, "Hey, you're blinding me." Again, one of those like nice to haves, but we don't have it. So let's talk about visibility. As you can see, you can't really see out the back that great. Like, that's not a great viewpoint. And then looking at that mirror, you can kind of tell you don't have that great of visibility. Shifting over this mirror, you don't have that great of visibility. So like, you have a lot of, like, basically I feel like I can see from this pillar all the way to that pillar pretty well, and then everything behind me is blind spot. Especially when the top's down, your rear view mirror is useless. I can see things behind me, but I can't see things like next to me, which I guess is the deal for a lot of cars. But I feel like the blind spot here is bigger than some of the previous vehicles I've driven. I've driven a lot of vehicles. When I'm backing up, I can't see anything. Like, even if you tilt those mirrors down some, you can't really see what's side of you. And that's what I love about this. Like, if I didn't have the 360 camera, I don't know how I'd back in and out of things. Like, that's ridiculous. I will say, I do love the reverse cam, and that you can get blown up. Like, when you're backing up to hook up your trailer, like, that's my hitch, and that line pretty much tells me where my hitch is going to be when I start backing up, and I love it. The 360 camera is just awesome. I love this top view. I can see what's on the sides of me. I can ways. I do like the backup camera. That definitely makes up for the crappy blind spots behind you. I like I love the center console. I like this little cubby. The cup holders could be bigger. Like, okay, you can fit your Yeti there, but you can't fit your Nalgene, which most cars you can't. This down here is great. I can just throw my Nalgene in there. It stays pretty good. But when I take the doors off and drive around, I don't have anywhere to put my Nalgene. So I do like the center console. It's not too bad. It's pretty roomy. I've stuffed a lot of stuff in there. When it was first getting cold and I had the doors off, I was able to stuff my big puffy jacket in there and lock it up. And then, so if I'm driving during the day, hot, it was fine. And then when I get in the car at night and it was cold, I could just pull my puffy jacket out, and it was great. The seats are comfortable. I love this material. This is the marine grade vinyl, and everybody thinks it's leather. Everybody I talk to thinks it's leather until I tell them, and they're like, "That's vinyl?" I'm like, yep, and it's waterproof, and it's super comfy, and they look great. I absolutely love it. Pretty much everything else is great. So the e-brake is right here. It's electric. You push it up to turn on, push it to turn off, and it's not great. I've had it fail on me, and when you have a stick shift, you know how important having that parking brake is. And especially when you're pulling a trailer, man, it's so nice to just have a cable with a handle, just like they had in the back in the day. This thing, I don't like it. Another big thing I just don't like. So, ugh. So other things that I don't like that I forgot to talk about when I was doing the walk around, I can't really show you, are the speakers, the stock speakers. I mean, I had the high package. I just have the regular standard speakers, and they are absolute garbage. I don't even know why Ford purchased these. Like, why do you purchase these speakers, Ford? Why are you putting them in here? They are garbage, absolute utter garbage. You put cardboard with a magnet on it and then threw it in here and called it a freaking speaker. I've actually bought crappy, I've been scammed and got like a crappy home theater system that was like a scam. Like, it literally was like, it had like rocks in the box, but it still had speakers. And those speakers, those scam of speakers, are better, absolutely better than what they put in this vehicle for $50,000 to better Ford. Are you kidding me? Like, garbage. First thing I did was replace my speakers. I mean, I went in and just got spent like $100 on Pioneer and replaced the 2 forward speakers and the 2 back speakers. I have the kickers down below, but I haven't been able to replace them because getting those panels off are a pain. And the one video that's out right now just kind of shows you how to do it. They're just like, yep, and we put a speaker in. They say that they didn't take that panel off and then they just did it. But I was a helicopter mechanic for 10 years. Used to finger things in dark, small type places, and I didn't feel comfortable replacing that speaker because it's such tight, hard to reach, not great replace. So, plus, like, you know, they're all plastic panels, so I feel like they're really easy to break. So I didn't want to break them and then not be able to replace it because, you know, they just don't have any replacement parts out for it yet. So I haven't really messed with it. Like, I mean, I replaced the speakers like 3 weeks after I got this thing. That was step one. The other issue, minor, like, technical issue I've had is the front windows. They're supposed to go up and down automatically, and for the most part, they go down no problem. But coming back up, they get stuck. Like, they'll go up a quarter of the way up, and then drop an inch, and then stop. And you're just like, okay. And then you hit it again, and it'll go up 3 inches, and then drop an inch, and then stop. And it usually takes me like 2 or 3 tries to get it. It doesn't do it every time. I may try to get a video of it happening and post it as well, or put it in this as well. I've talked to the dealer. He said it was kind of like a known issue, like there's something in the tracks and it's just stopping and trying to clear the track. They're like, you can try cleaning the track, or I think he said something about like you can disconnect the battery and it helps reset the safety switch or whatever. I haven't tried anything. It happens enough to be noted, but it's not enough to be like annoying, like, oh, stupid windows won't roll up. Like, it's not you just hit the switch again. So, but the rear, funny thing is the rear windows, no problem. They just go up and down on command, no issues, not a problem. So it's just the front windows. You can definitely hear road noises. I mean, again, soft top, but if you get the music up, it's not noticeable. The only time it's really annoying is I'm trying to make YouTube videos, or like realistically, it's really annoying like when you're trying to call somebody on the phone, and I've never heard it because I don't call myself while I'm driving. But like what people have told me is like it's terrible on their end. So I don't really, I try not to answer the phone or make phone calls while I'm driving the Bronco for that. Well, that's one of the reasons why I don't do it. But for the most part, it's acceptable. It's just annoying for the other person. Like my dad won't talk to me if I'm driving because he can't. I mean, he can't hear anyways. And then with all this noise, it's hard. But the only other time the wind noise is bad is if you do have your buddy in the car with you, or your husband or your wife or your kids or whatever, and you're trying to have a normal conversation at highway speeds with lots of 18-wheelers and such, it can be difficult to hear each other because of all the noise. But again, it's a soft top. Like, if you don't want noise, get a hard top with the liner. I can't speak on that. I would assume they're better. So, but yeah, soft top noise, loud. It's fine if you are driving with the radio on. So just layer the tunes and pretend like you're 16 again, and enjoy. I mean, that's the whole part of having a Bronco. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that video. I do have a couple more videos about the Bronco and the camper coming out. So if you see right here, my next video should be coming out, and I talk more about towing. I'll show you how I hook up my trailer. I'll show you how I hook up my camper, and all the pro tips and just my experience about towing with the Bronco. So hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think about the Bronco in the comments. If you thought the same thing, just drop a comment. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you on the trail.